What's up? It's your boy Carcino here. Let's talk about it. You all wanted me to discuss the UFC. You all wanted me to discuss Conor McGregor, Khabib. Apologize, don't know his last name. What's up, Mr. Sledge? You should be at work. I am. Like, I get paid to listen to you. Nothing wrong with that. That's one thing about rich people streets, boy. They don't waste no time getting that thing paved. They know they got them. They on the clock. You better get these streets done. You ain't finna tear up these rich people cars. Uh-uh. They got one more section to do. They did this in like a week. I'm like, man, they got all this done and smooth already, man. Look at these roads. They just did this side. They only got that much left. They did across the street. They did all this and wrapped all this up quick. They only got to do the little turning lanes. That's crazy. Look at that. Smooth sailings. Willie's one of the best fighters they got. But Dana White don't promote his talent, so there you have it. All of this comes back to Dana White. People don't realize how much money the UFC has actually lost. People think they're just ranking in the money. Nope. You don't sell a company that you're raking in all the dough. You sell the company when you see that it's finna fall. Now, the Khabib fight should make a lot of money. This will be the first and only big fight of the UFC this year. In 2018, the UFC has not had a big fight. What are you doing? Driving like a maniac out here on the road. It's always an idiot. It's always one idiot. But let's get into why we're here. Let's talk Conor McGregor. Right? We're talking Conor McGregor versus Khabib. Let's talk about it. Khabib is a wrestler. Here's what they're not going to tell you on the UFC. They're going to lie to you and tell you anything that's pretty to come to your head. They're not going to tell you the truth. Here's the truth. Conor McGregor has been protected his entire UFC career, which is very short. But he's been protected. And the reason why they've been protecting him is because they see what the type of fighter they have. He's marketable, he's loud. And what I seen from the press conference is that Conor McGregor is not there to fight. He's there to sell a fight. He don't think he could beat Khabib at all. See, that's what losing puts into your mind. When you have, it takes away the illusion of you cannot be beaten. Conor is going to try to stay on the outside and jab and do his strikes and move around the ring and make the fight a close decision. That's what he's hoping for. He's not going to knock out Khabib. It's not going to happen. He will have his opportunity at strikes. By round 2 or 3, Khabib knows how to get in and get you to the ground. And once he gets Conor to the ground, the fight is over. Conor will not be able to get up. He's a Russian bear. So he'll wrestle him all the way to a decision. And they'll go to the scorecards, and it'll be 3 rounds to 2. Conor be like, I won this fight. He didn't beat me. I thought you were going to beat me. You just ran in and you just held me to death. I'm the best fighter in the world. And all the white people be screaming, yeah, Conor! You didn't beat me, man. I'm still on my feet. Look at me. Look at me. I'm still in shape. I can go another 12 rounds or so. He did nothing to me. I can still here. You're not doing nothing by me. You're not going to beat me. I can do that. I want a rematch. I'll fight him again. We can do it again. Where do we want to go? Hey, we do it again. I'll be like, oh, God. I couldn't understand nothing he said at that press conference. Nothing. Not one word. He was so busy yelling and screaming all over. I think in round 3 it's over because Conor don't have the type of protection where he can know how to defend himself on the ground. He just gives up. He's so exhausted, he can't think. All the drinking, all the partying, just because you go in the gym and work out, these things have an effect on you and they take a toll on your body. Why everything gotta be about like? I'm breaking down the fight. Fighting styles. Conor is a striker. Khabib is a wrestler. You think his Khabib's ears look like chewed up bubble gum just because he just felt like it? No, he likes to wrestle. He likes to get you down and wrestle. That's what he do. So all of this about like, if there's anything about like and dislike, then why? I have no reason to like Conor McGregor. No one does. Why would anybody like Conor McGregor? That's the biggest question. If this is about like and dislike, it's about real wrestlers versus basically prop jobs. Conor McGregor is smoke and mirrors. If it wasn't for the Aldo fight, the Aldo fight where he landed the shot on Aldo, we wouldn't be talking about Conor McGregor. He would have lost that fight. But he landed the punch, he got it, and the UFC got what they wanted. That was exactly what they wanted. But if they rematched, Aldo would probably beat him. But I knew what it was. Conor was just a big guy in a small person's weight class. And he can no longer make the weight because he's not disciplined. So now he can't make that weight. Just like we've seen what happens to people when they can't fight at a weight that gives them an advantage. They fight in a weight that don't. They got to really grind it out. What happened? We see what happens, don't we? In the snap of a finger. Wop, 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 wop. Fight's over. Next thing you know, they bring it in the smelling sauce. So Conor's game plan is to stay on the outside, pose, throw some leg kicks, try to strike. But you know, you're fighting a guy who knows how to defend against leg kicks, who wants you to try to kick him on the outside so he can shoot to try to take you down. He's not worried about your striking. Conor has faster reflexes and faster hands. But they're not worried about it. UFC has signed Conor McGregor to a 6-fight contract. Six, y'all. That is very telling. And Khabib is the favorite in the fight. He's a 2-1 favorite going in. I have a lot of experience when it comes to MMA. People be like, what do you know about UFC? I was there when UFC 1 took place. Pancrease. We got all the things. We know all the fighters from back then when it was real fighting. Not this bubblegum stuff you got today. A lot of people are like, it's more dangerous now. No, those are real martial artists in the ring. Now you got a bunch of guys who can't take a punch to the jaw. Bunch of China chin guys. Their whole body's in shape. They did all these miles. As soon as somebody clip them one time, the fight's over. So that way, everyone thinks it's a good idea. There's no standout fighter in any division. Tyron Woodley is the only guy who's a standout fighter. Why? Because he's experienced in fighting. Guys who have the experience of fighting, of getting hit, and knowing how to protect themselves and can strike, like Tyron Woodley, and know how to do takedown and boxing, and is used to taking some punches, they are very successful. John Jones, you know, the thing about him, if he fight Gustafsson again, he's gonna, you know, there's gonna be some very serious consequences for him, because he's got a guy that can stand in front of him and strike, who's big enough and can take the punches and come through. And John Jones' thing is control. He knew how to control the fight, dictate the fight, when the fight take place, when it don't. Just like Anderson Silva used to do. Conor got no chance. Every man has a chance. So let's not say that. Every man has a chance. You know, he can land a lucky punch. Look at what happened with Aldo. He had no chance of winning that fight, and look what happened. No, he fought guys when they were in situations where what was not where it should be. He fought Max Holloway. Yeah, he fought Max Holloway when Max Holloway was hurt. He fought, like, half these guys were injured, but they had to take the fight. So all you see is the names, and you think like, wow, he beat that guy, he beat this guy, he beat this guy before he was even learned anything. He beat another guy when, you know, Max Holloway was too injured to really do anything in the fight. So, you know, Max always wanted that rematch. You know, we didn't get that fight, and unfortunately for certain reasons, certain people was injured, and I was the guy that told you Conor was gonna lose his next fight. I'm like, that was the Mayweather curse. He was gonna lose his next fight, and he did. He lost his very first fight in the UFC to Nate Diaz, and at that time he wasn't even scheduled to fight Nate. Then he fought a rematch with Nate, and I said that's a bad idea. And he basically ran away from Nate Diaz the entire fight. And Nate is slow as nails, but he brings pressure. He can take anything Conor throws and keep coming. And then when Nate throw his slap punches, Conor with his China chin can't take it. And he's so fatigued, he just passes out. I mean, you just came from getting your butt kicked from Nate Diaz to Floyd Mayweather kicking your butt. Now you finna fight Khabib. In each 3 fights you just had, your last 3 fights, what has happened to Conor McGregor? He ran out of gas. Start strong, then run out of gas. Start strong, run out of gas. Now they know the writing's on the wall. Now you ain't gonna be able to get guys out of here in 1 and 2 rounds. Now they're 5-round fights, Conor. What you gonna do? What you gonna do, Conor? You're not trained for 5 rounds. So what are you gonna do, Conor? What's gonna happen in rounds 3, 4, and 5? Yeah, because Nate took the fight on short notice. And I was like, man, if Nate had a camp, I can't trust it. Because I don't know if Nate's ready for a fight. Nate was training for a decathlon when this happened. So he just happened to be in shape and ready to make the fight. So, you know, Conor that was the wrong style opponent for Conor. He needs somebody where the fight could be over in the first 2 rounds. I never liked Conor McGregor at all. Nothing about him, everything about him says unprofessional, disrespectful. He's just ridiculous. And they compare him to Floyd. I'm like, how? He's nothing like Floyd Mayweather. When has Floyd Mayweather been disrespectful like that? No. He does his things to promote a fight. When a fight's over, he'll shake the opponent's hand. It's all good. Hey, brother, take care. You know, it's all said and done. You don't see Floyd running around here throwing stuff through windows, breaking people's cars, cursing like that, like a madman, dropping his pants, doing it. It's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I think Conor McGregor represents what's wrong with the UFC. They've turned it into a barbaric sport, even though it's more barbaric now than when it was combat, when it was no rules, anything goes combat. Because it was always respect and honor. These guys were martial artists. There's nothing martial arts about any of these guys. This is just wrestling mixed with some boxing. So there's no mixed martial arts put in this stuff at all. The only guys who were martial artists, like Lyoto Machida, he was successful in knocking people out because he was a martial artist. He was like the only martial artist left that was a full-fledged martial artist. All these guys was aerial stunt show people. And then I have a problem with people like Dana White, who is the president of UFC, and he's managing Conor McGregor. I have a problem with that. How are you the manager of this guy, but you're supposed to have our best interest in stake? Khabib is going to dominate Conor McGregor because he's the better fighter. That's it. Cut and dried. This is like you guys who was telling us about Brock. Brock is airbrush BS. Okay, he's a steroid junkie. Okay, he might, now that he's off the juice, people were slapping him and he was getting knocked out in 1 round. I made so much money betting on the UFC and Brock Lesnar. It was so, it's not even funny. When Cain Velasquez whooped him, became the first Mexican heavyweight champion, I was just making money left and right. I'm like, who's fighting Brock next? Who's fighting Brock next? Brock the favorite? Good. Do I want to bet the knockout stoppage? Yes, I want that. Brock is coming back. Yeah, I know, because you know what they were doing? They were selling tickets. People didn't care. It's Brock Lesnar. People want to see Brock. I'm like, this guy can't fight. He cannot fight. Why do you want to see this guy gas out in 30 seconds? He gets smacked one time, he's going down. He can't fight. Okay, just because he's big and got muscles, he can fight in there. But Brock was winning. I'm like, who would he fight? Shane Carwin? Two juice heads fighting each other. One juice head punched himself out, and the ref didn't stop the fight. Herb Dean just let it keep going. Like, oh, Dana ain't gave me the word to stop it, so I'm going to let it keep going. Everybody whooped him, and I made my money every time Brock Lesnar fought. When he fought Oliver, man, I had bet that fight so quick. They was like, you want to bet the knockout? Put everything on the knockout. $400 on the knockout. He will not make it to the bell. Oliver Overstein, they was like, I'm like, oh, he's fighting him? Yeah, knockout. Bet it all on a knockout. Man, UFC is an easy way to get money. Easy way to get money. Amanda Nunes fight. Bet the knockout. Bet it, and bet it. And won it. I told you a year ago what was going to happen to Ronda Rousey when she lost the fight. My video was the most clearest, purest video ever. I told you in that video what was going to happen to her. I said she ain't coming back for a year. They like, no, they said, Dana said she'll be back in the 3 more months. She's going to fight. She ain't fighting in those 3 more months. She ain't going to come back for a year. I'm like, this is debilitating to her ego. She ain't coming back. And I told you that night. She wasn't coming back for a year. And what happened? She didn't come back for a year. I don't make this stuff up. I know what they are. Right. Ronda Rousey. They got to make her a champion like they did Brock, like they did all of them. And what happened with the Ronda Rousey train? All these idiots start following Ronda. Why? Because now her ego is back up there, like she's really winning fights. Get back in the UFC. They'll set you up with a person you can beat and you can armbar them. But her ego can't sustain that. Here's the problem. And I want to be clear. Here's the problem. All right? I just wanted to be clear about it. Here's the problem with the entire situation. Conor McGregor don't have a ground game. He's worked with ground guys that got him on the ground, and he worked on protecting himself on takedowns and guarding. He never worked on putting moves together to try to actually defend himself and do reversals where he could actually do some work on the ground. He never put that work in. He's always putting in work to try to get himself conditioned to stay in shape and lose all this weight. You got to be in the gym. You got to be working. But he made all this money running his mouth and selling the fight because he realized people are stupid. The people that watch these events are really stupid. They love the show outside the ring more than they like what's inside the ring. And then you got an idiot like Dana White who sat up there, I don't know how I could work with Conor again after what he did. Oh, he put all that in jeopardy. I don't ever represent him again right now. I'm mad at him right now. But what he just did, he threw the thing in there. He injured 2 fighters. I got 2 fighters that's injured. Now you put him right back in a big money. What does that say to the rest of the people in the UFC? Now it all looks planned. When they use that video to promote their fight, you're showing footage of a criminal act to promote your fight. Where do they do that at? So it looked like a promotional stunt gone wrong. Why you think they got him, the super lawyers that they got, them stupid lawyers, they just all got a free check, they pay the fine, and now here they are doing fights again in Madison Square Garden. I'm the only one that told you the truth. Why there was no fights in New York as long as the Furtadas owned the UFC. There was never going to be a fight a UFC fight in New York City. I told you that. I told you don't even expect it. Told you why. That was mob related. The mob was not going to let the UFC in New York City. Oh, they exist. You just don't know them as the mob. You call them the commission. That's what it was. Mob versus mob. No. See, here it is. The Furtadas own the casinos, and they have a big stronghold in Las Vegas. The New York casino owners do not want, which is the mob, do not want the Furtadas getting any money over some percentages and stuff that happened in the casinos in New York. The Furtadas did a lot of blocking them out, so this was all about real money, casino money. Not UFC. UFC is a pet project to the Furtadas. That's something that they did for Dana. They just like, look, we'll get some money, but that's a pet project. That's not where their money come from. The Furtadas got money galore, billions in casinos. They're not worried about nothing else. They're not worried about no UFC. So when the first chance they got to sell, and they was like, okay, we know this is where the road is finna turn. You guys didn't know it was bankrupt in 2011, 2009-11. It was almost bankrupt. Dana White blew all the money in London, trying to promote the UFC in London. It was a huge mistake. The way they did. The only thing that saved the UFC was the Ultimate Fighter. Once they got the Ultimate Fighter on Spike, that saved the UFC and helped them make some money and help promote some of their fights basically for free with sponsorship. And it saved the company. Other than that, the Furtadas was going to sell. Dana almost was fired and he was gone all that money. See, the mobs own the commissions, the gaming commissions. They're all ran by the mob. So when you try to have the athletic commissions and all this in New York, and you try to get them for a UFC fight, you think that was going to actually go down? If you're the Furtadas, they own the commissions. The commissions vote no every time the UFC tried to get something done and go through the commissions without dealing with the mob. That's not going to happen. You're going to have to address the mob. The mob exists, buddy. It always going to exist. let's look at a bigger picture that we need to see. Dana White, right? What 6 fights can Dana White put together with Conor McGregor? He got 6 fights out of Conor McGregor. That's 2 fights out of Conor a year. 2 major pay-per-view fights for Conor a year. Conor fights this fight here. He doesn't fight again the next year. Okay, so he's fighting 2 times next year and 2 major fights. Mike can squeeze in 3. But who are you going to put him in with? That's going to match the amount of money you're going to have to pay Conor McGregor, because the financials of the deal is still not determined. So that means Conor is going to be getting paid on the back end. He's going to have to make his money on the pay-per-view sales of the fight. So now he's basically splitting some shares of the pay-per-view revenues with Conor McGregor, which could net him $30 to $40 million a fight, which is massive for a UFC fighter. Now here's the major problem. Who are you going to dance him with? You can't just dance Conor with anybody, because once Conor starts losing, who you going to dance him with? Tony Ferguson? That's another loss. Conor McGregor cannot beat Tony Ferguson. He cannot beat Khabib. I told you that 2 years ago. I'm telling you that now. If he goes up and fight Woodley, he's dead. So there's no... Who can he beat? Those are the fighters that the fans want to see. You a UFC fan, right? You a Conor fan, right? Let them know. If he fight those guys, that's what's going to happen. Do I know people in the mob? No comment. No comment. I don't shine shoes no more. Thought they told you. You know, you've been gone a long time. They might not have told you. But I don't shine shoes no more. Yeah, we part of the overcoat. You know, Chicago overcoats. Oh, we know Conor gonna lose the fight. I got round 3. I got a stoppage, Khabib. I got $500 on it. So, you know, I might put some more money on it when it gets closer to the fight. But yeah, he's done. He's done. He's dead in the water. There's no way out. No more excuses. He's done. You hear? You better believe I'm going to be spending Conor money. And another thing about Conor, and I want people to understand this clearly. When we talk about Conor McGregor, you're talking about somebody who don't care about anything. That guy has no clue about anything. He's all over the place. He's going to hurt him really bad. He's going to hurt Conor McGregor's ego. He's going to hurt everything about Conor McGregor. Conor don't have the confidence that he can win no more. I already told you. It's done. You feel me? I didn't see that boy. You know the Russian mob. They took their friend down, man. Look at me. I'm still on my feet. He ain't knocked me out. I'm feeling good. I get loopy like sometimes, you know what I'm saying? I feel really good, my man. You know, he's not gonna beat me. He's nothing but a beat. I'm ready to fight right now. You said ain't the time and the place to prime, and now I'm done. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm Conor McGregor. I don't give a fuck about none of that, man. Look at me, man. I make a lot of money, man, and I look good still. Ah! He gonna do that after the fight over. He already got his excuse. He didn't knock me out, man. Yeah, we fight, but he hugged me like a little woman all day. And you know what people gonna say? Yeah, I want a rematch. I'll fight him again. This time I won't let him take me to the ground. This time I was a little loopy because I was a little tired because I took the fight at the last minute. But now I know how he fights. He fights like a girl. So now I'm gonna fight him again. I'm gonna train. All that crazy stuff. What races? What did anything we said had anything to do with race? See, people don't even know what races is anymore. What does that got to do with race? Nothing we said had anything to do with race. It's just one guy who already knows he's gonna lose. He's selling the fight. He's being loud. He's being obnoxious. Just sell it. And selling it to a bunch of drunk idiots because they're going to just be all excited because he's hype. But when the fight happens, that's not going to save you. So we don't care. That's racist. I'll be like, which race are we going for? We got the white guy versus the white guy right now. What race are we talking about? Who I'm picking to win the fight? Woodley? Maybe who gonna win between Khabib and Conor? Woodley. Whoopie whoop both of them. They ain't gonna fight him though. Oh, Dana's not dumb. Dana had to sign him to such a deal. Because if Dana don't, the UFC is dead. Why you think they trying to get Ronda Rousey to come back? They got Brock to come back, but who's gonna really buy Brock fights? But Brock fights put up numbers. They'll probably have him fight the Undertaker in the UFC. It's become a joke. It's not about guys working up the division to win titles, that stuff is dead now. Because they don't promote their talent. They have guys that win fight that can fight. Those guys are not promoted. You don't hear about those guys. Those guys are thrown in the trash, and then you're going to give you Paige Van Zants and Sage Northcutts. You're going to get these kind of CM Punks. They're going to give you sideshow freaks. And then when it don't work out, they put CM Punk in every easy fight they can put. They're like, fight Mickey Gall. And Mickey Gall's tough. I'm like, Mickey Gall is durable. You know, he can't beat probably some of the A-list fighters, but Mickey can fight. He's actually a fighter. He's been in the gym. He's been working with these guys. Like, he's not there for a promo run. Guys ain't in there not trying to hit him because they don't want to mess up his face for the promo. The reason why Damian Cormier wins fights, Doughboy wins fights, because Doughboy knows how to strike. Stipe, he doesn't like Dana White, and I understand. But Stipe, they put him in with every killer known to man. And he just happened to lose this fight, and Dana White's the happiest guy in the world because he hates Stipe. Bellator is better than the UFC, yes, because Bellator cares about the fight. They just gonna put the best fight on. They'll use a veteran name, put him in there. UFC's like, well, he's done. He got nothing left. Bellator be like, he got something left. He got a name. We're gonna put them together and make a mega fight. There we go. And they selling out in Canada. Selling fights to drunks Okay, so what does that mean? Only one race of people get drunk? I think you drunk right now. So you saying all us Irish are alcoholics? Nope, if you're Irish, you basically just told on yourself that you drunk right now with that statement. I said he's selling the fight to drunk. Do you think everybody out there was Irish? Then you were drunk. Alcoholics go to meetings. Irish people that's just a Tuesday for them. Like they don't understand St. Patrick's Day. Everybody getting all excited. Irish people don't really get excited about St. Patrick's Day. They be like, we gotta go drinking. It's St. Patrick's Day. They be like, we just drunk like that yesterday. We'll go out, but we don't go all crazy. It's everybody else that goes crazy for St. Patty's Day. They be sitting there like Irish people be sitting there just relaxing, drinking. I mean, they drink that black liquor, that black Guinness type liquor. They drink real beer. They be, cheers. Hey, mate. They sit there and they relax. And they sit back and watch everybody else lose their mind. Everybody else got on green, glittery hats. Everybody like watching them like, the Irish people be sitting there watching them like, these guys crazy. I think he's Dutch. After this, we're going over to the Caraman. You want to go to the Caraman? All right. We're going to the Caraman. So everybody else celebrates their holidays more than they do. Yeah, it's too loud out there. I can't get out there. Well, Dana White has lost a lot of money for the UFC. Once the UFC is sold, I told people this was going to happen. They're going to run it into the ground. Dana White is hired now to be like the face of the promotion of it. So he's not really making the deals behind the scenes. He's the manager. Al Heyman basically runs the UFC now. Al Heyman has a big stake in the UFC. He has an investment team. The William Morris Agency, their team runs it. Al Heyman gets a check out of the UFC. That's why you were able to even see Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor. Oh, Mayweather and them, they do. They make sure Woodley. That's why Woodley was on Fox. That's why Tyron Woodley was on a lot of different platforms that a lot of people didn't know about. Then, to top that off, we're going to move even further. Dana White don't have the power to make the decisions that he used to. He don't have the power to say this or that no more. He's a worker. Now he got his big money. He's been paid off. And they're going to phase Dana White out. In about 2 more years, Dana will be gone. That was how the deal was structured. That's why Dana was talking about, we're going to go into Zuffa boxing. We're going to do that. No, they're not. Because they were doing that on the strength of Conor McGregor going into boxing. And then they saw the fight and said, no, we can't do that. Conor don't want to be a boxer. Floyd done beat all boxing hell out of Conor McGregor. They put him in with somebody who ain't Floyd, he going to get killed. I know, he ruined a lot of fighters' careers, hoping that they lose, putting them in with tough fights because he got personal vendettas against them. You can't do business with a guy like that. When they got personal vendettas, you trying to sleep with their girlfriends and all kind of stupid stuff, and You don't want none of the girls there to date any of the fighters, but then you're dating and screwing all of them and giving them drugs and all kind of. He made a mockery of the UFC. He made a mockery of it, and he started letting the fame go to his head and thinking he was bigger than the sport. Like, people are paying money to see Dana White. He won't promote Amanda Nunes because he's an idiot. That was a prime example, and where even his buddy Joe Rogan had to tell him, man, that was kind of dumb. Like that didn't make any sense, because Joe Rogan's basically telling you this is somebody who can win. Amanda Nunes, who we wanted to see to fight me and Joe Rogan. That's one thing about Joe Rogan. He might have been Dana White's best friend and all this stuff. He's been there since the beginning. Like, Joe Rogan has been there before Dana bought the place. Joe Rogan was all about the UFC, to the point where he started training and taking roids and everything. Went bald, started taking roids and got all roided up. Then him and Dana started roiding together. But Dana's a lazy bum, so he wasn't going to keep up, so the roid just turned into fat. Remember, Dana White took the roids so he can get on the cover of the magazine? Dana White ripped. I'm like, this doughboy ain't got the work ethic to keep up. Oh, please, everybody know what happened with Dana White. That's no secret. Then what'd he do? He ran. Chuck Liddell's coming back. Yeah. Chuck's fighting Tito, because now he's going to have competition, because Golden Boy is, off the strength of this one fight, is going to get into the MMA game. So Golden Boy Promotions is putting on their first MMA fight with Chuck Liddell coming back to fight Tito Ortiz. And if it sells for their trilogy, Golden Boy is going to start doing their own events here too, to challenge the UFC on a lot of fights. I already betted on Conor versus Khabib. As soon as the bets were in place, I bet Khabib's going to stop him in 3 rounds. They were like, submission? I'm like, submission. Conor will quit. And he will have no problem in doing it. For Conor McGregor, nothing has changed. Nothing has changed for Conor McGregor. It's the same as it always been. It's in his head. He can't get it out of his head. He's okay with the fact of losing now. He's already got it wrapped around his head to come up with an excuse for losing. Every fight he's lost, he's quit. He never lost a decision. Mike Tyson has never lost a decision. They just quit in the fight. So for Dana White to keep Conor McGregor in the UFC, because he needs Conor McGregor, he had to give him stock into pay-per-view. So he had to negotiate that in the contract when he went to go sit down at the table to get it negotiated. So when he did that, the representatives for Conor McGregor, which is Dana White, had to go sit down with the William Morris Agency, and the people that represent the UFC, who do the deals, had to sit down and come up with a 6-fight deal with Conor McGregor. Oh no, I don't see him winning the decision. I see him probably stopping him in 3 rounds. He want to win by submission. I just. Yep, he's gonna smash him. I'm gonna be okay with it. You're right. The noise stopped. I can get out the car now. Okay. Hey. Oh, Conor's a fake tough guy. Dana White blocked me from coming there to interview Conor McGregor. Y'all remember that? When I was in Vegas, they